The wedding hall was silent except for the officiant's voice preparing to begin the oaths. Qi's trembling fingers clutched the folds of her wedding gown, knuckles white. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. "Do you, Alex?" The doors to the wedding hall burst open with a crash so loud that chandeliers rattled. Guests gasped, screams erupted as armed men stormed in, guns raised, faces cold and merciless. At the center of them stood John Jungkook, dark suit hair tousled from his long flight, a gun in one hand, his aura so dangerous it froze everyone in place. Mr. and Mrs. John shot to their feet in shock. The officiant froze, his words dying in his throat. "Kill anyone who dares to stop me." Jungkook's voice rang out, low, commanding. His men obeyed instantly, weapons pointed at the crowd. Qi's lips parted, her eyes widening in terror as Jungkook's heavy footsteps carried him down the aisle. He stopped in front of her, his sharp voice a velvet blade. "My love," he said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You really thought you'd marry someone else?" Tears welled in Qi's eyes. She shook her head violently, glancing toward Mr. and Mrs. John with desperate, trembling pleas. Mrs. John tried to move forward. "Jungkook, stay there," he snapped, his glare shutting her up instantly. His dark aura pressed over the entire room like a suffocating blanket. Alex finally found his voice, stepping forward with fists clenched. "Hyun, what are you doing?" Jungkook's head tilted, lips curling into a humorless smile. In one swift motion, he yanked Alex by the collar and shoved him off the altar. "Don't you dare question me," he growled, leaning close. "I'm taking back what's mine." His gun swung toward the officiant. "Continue, now." The trembling officiant nodded quickly. Qian stumbled back, silent sobs shaking her shoulders, tears rolling freely down her cheeks. But Jungkook's hand shot out, gripping hers tightly, dragging her against his chest. His breath ghosted over her ear as he whispered possessively, "Don't try to run from me, love. You can't escape me." A hiccup escaped her throat, voiceless, broken. She shook her head, but Jungkook only pressed his forehead against hers, thumb brushing away her tears. "Don't cry, I'm not here to scare you." Then his gaze turned sharp again at the officiant. "Come on, say the oaths." No one dared move against him. No one breathed wrong. The oaths were spoken, shaky and hurried. Jungkook answered with a growl of approval each time, his hand never leaving Qi's trembling fingers. When the officiant finally announced the union, Jungkook smirked in triumph. He squeezed her hand possessively and tugged her toward the main doors. His parents followed in a storm of rage. The ride back to John Mansion was suffocating. Jungkook gripped the wheel jaw tight as Mrs. John sat firmly beside Qian in the backseat, refusing to let him near her. When they entered the living room, the air cracked. Mr. John's hand struck Jungkook's cheek. "What have you done?" Thundered, veins straining against his neck. Qian flinched violently, clutching Mrs. John's hands with wide, fearful eyes. Jungkook slowly rubbed his cheek, tongue pushing against the inside of his cheek. His voice was a dangerous whisper. "You all sent me abroad and planned her marriage behind my back." He scoffed darkly. "Nah, I don't give others what's mine." Mr. John trembled in fury. "Qian is not a thing. I promised her parents to protect her. How do I face Alex and my brother now?" Jungkook only shrugged, careless and cold. "Not my fault. Everyone knew I loved her, still you dared to fix her marriage. Now face the consequence," answered your brother. Mrs. John wrapped her arms around Qian protectively. "She doesn't like you. You are just obsessed." Jungkook's gaze cut to Qian, his brow arched. "Really, love?" Qian's tears shimmered in her eyes. She bit her lip hard, shaking her head. A muscle ticked in his jaw as he raked a hand through his hair. "I'm exhausted from the flight. I don't have energy for this." His eyes darkened as he extended his hand to Qian. "Come, love." Mrs. John glared. "Don't you dare scare her." "Scare her?" Jungkook rolled his eyes, chuckling bitterly. "She's only scared because she doesn't understand. I would never hurt her." He kissed Qian's knuckles, ignoring the way she trembled, and pulled her along. His bedroom door shut with a heavy thud. Qian backed away immediately, eyes wide, hands clutching her gown as if it could shield her. Jungkook leaned against the door, sighing as he rubbed his temple. "Why are you so scared of me?" His voice was low, tired. "I never even spoke harshly to you." Qian shook her head, mute sobs spilling silently. His eyes flicked to her gown, face twisting. "I swear I want to burn that thing. You wore it for him, when you know damn well I love you." His voice broke slightly. "Yet you stood there for someone else." He stepped closer. Qian's vision blurred, her knees weakened, body trembling violently, until everything went black. Jungkook caught her before she hit the floor. He held her tightly, panic flickering across his features. Gently patting her cheek, he whispered, "Love, open your eyes, please." No response, just her fragile body limp in his arms. He sighed shakily, scooping her up bridal style. Laying her on the bed, he called the maid. His voice was rough but careful. "Change her clothes, use these." He handed over his sweatshirt and sweatpants. Once the maid finished, Jungkook dismissed her. He sat by one side, brushing damp strands of hair from her forehead. "I'm sorry," he whispered over and over. "I didn't mean to scare you, love. I can't let you go." He pressed soft kisses to her temple, to her forehead, lingering as if to breathe her in. His thumb caressed her hand as he whispered sweet nothings in the silence of the night. "Don't leave me, Qian. I'll protect you from everyone, even from my parents. You're mine." Hours passed. His head eventually rested against the pillow beside her, his arm wrapped firmly around her small frame, pulling her into his chest. Even in slumber, his lips brushed against her hairline as if apologizing in his dreams. And for the first time that night, Jungkook slept, clinging to the only person he had ever loved. The next morning, Qian's lashes fluttered open. The first thing she heard was raised voices. "Tell me what you have done to her." Mr. John's voice boomed. "I told you I didn't do anything." Jungkook's tone cracked with desperation. Qian blinked at the ceiling blankly, her mind heavy, her chest tight. Slowly she turned her head. Across the room she saw Mr. John gripping Jungkook by the collar. Fury egged across his face. Mrs. John stood nearby, arms crossed, her eyes shut with disappointment. Jungkook's hands hovered at his sides, fists clenching, trying not to lash out. Dad, I love her, he said, his voice low, strained. Why can't you understand? Love? Mr. John snarled. You call that love? You terrified her. Before Jungkook could respond, Wine swiftly pushed herself upright, her body swaying with their foot. The sudden movement caught Mrs. John's eye. She's awake. Mrs. John yelled, crushing toward her. Jungkook also lunged forward, but Mrs. John spun on him with a glare so furious it made him halt. Don't you dare come close. Wine's chest squeezed painfully as she saw Jungkook's expression, hood flickering beneath his intimidating mask. Mrs. John slid to her side, helping her sit properly against the headboard. How do you feel, darling? Do you need water? Does your head hurt? She forced. Wine's hands trembled, but she moved them swiftly in sign language. He didn't do anything, don't scold him. Jungkook's lips parted stunned, while Mr. and Mrs. John blinked at her. Mr. John still growled under his breath. No matter what, he has done wrong enough. But Jungkook exhaled shakily, relief softening his shoulders. Mr. John finally released Jungkook's collar, but not without a glare. He and Mrs. John sat on either side of Wine, their concern palpable. How are you feeling? Mrs. John asked again softly. Wine sighed. I'm fine. Mrs. John caught her hands gently. Sweetheart, you don't have to stay with him if he scares you. You are not bound. Before she could finish, Wine shook her head firmly, her eyes glistening as she lowered them, feeling the intensity of Jungkook's gaze burning into her skin. Jungkook let out a bitter chuckle, raking a hand through his hair. You are unbelievable, Mom, he muttered. Sometimes I swear you adopted me from a dumpster. Mrs. John gasped. You ungrateful brat. A pillow smacked Jungkook in the face, thrown by Mr. John. Jungkook caught it, dropped it calmly on the bed beside Wine, then leaned against the wall. You both are acting as if I have been abusing her all my life, when you are the ones who have been scaring her about me, he said with a frown. Mrs. John snorted and said, not us but Alex. Jungkook groaned, looking at her with disbelief and muttered through gritted teeth. Great, Mom, just so great, and you made sure to make me look like a monster. So great. Mr. John glared at him and said, your craziness made you look like a monster. He rolled his eyes and stood straight, scratching his eyebrow. You two can leave now, my wife needs to rest, he said flatly. Mrs. John narrowed her eyes. Don't you order me. Jungkook rolled his eyes and walked out, only to return a few minutes later, carrying a tray. He set it down carefully on the side table. Well, Mr. John muttered sarcastically. Our son finally acting responsible. Jungkook didn't miss a beat. Yeah, Dad, don't fade from the shock. For the first time that morning, both parents smiled despite themselves. Wine's cheeks flushed crimson at the small exchange. Jungkook's chest swelled at the sight, her blush like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. He smirked knowingly, pride flashing in his eyes. Mrs. John patted Wine's cheek softly. Call us if you need anything. Okay, darling. Wine only nodded as they left. The room fell silent. Jungkook placed the tray on his lap and sat by her side. His hand brushed her hair gently behind her ear. Eat, love, you need strength. She just stared at him wide-eyed. He raised a brow, his expression deadly serious. What? Do I have food on my face? Her lips parted and she quickly looked down, cheeks flaming. Jungkook smirked, picking up a spoonful of porridge and holding it to her lips. Come on, don't make me beg. She hesitated, then leaned forward, taking a small bite. His chest tightened, his eyes softening as he fed her slowly, carefully, as though she might break if he rushed. After a few bites, her trembling hands lifted, beginning to sigh. But she froze halfway, lowering her gaze in frustration. Jungkook caught her hands instantly, pressing his lips to her knuckles. Don't stop, I can understand. Say it, love. Her cheeks burned slowly, shyly she signed. Who changed my clothes? A wicked smirk tugged at his lips. He leaned closer, his voice dropping sensually. I did, but I promise I just peeked a little bit. Her entire body flushed scarlet. She looked at him with wide, scandalized eyes, shaking her head furiously. Jungkook chuckled, leaning closer until his breath coasted her cheek. Should I have? He whispered. Her fingers fumbled desperately, signing with trembling hands. No. He tilted his head, eyes glinting darkly, and murmured, Then why are you blushing, love? Her eyes glistened, heart hammering so loud she thought he would hear it. But then he chuckled softly, patting her head. Relax, just kidding. The maid changed you. I wouldn't let anyone else. She bit her lip, hiding her face with her hands. Jungkook's teasing smirk softened. He leaned down and pressed a long, lingering kiss to her forehead, letting his lips stay there. His voice came out in a hushed whisper, trembling with raw truth. I'm sorry for yesterday. I just couldn't let you be someone else's. I didn't mean to scare you. I love you too much to ever hurt you. He straightened, brushing her hair tenderly one last time. Rest now. The maids moved your belongings here. He turned to leave, but her small hand shot out, grabbing his sleeve. Her fingers trembled as she signed, thank you. Jungkook's breath hissed, a slow smile spread across his face, one soft, one only for her. That's all right, love. He murmured, ruffling her hair gently, and for the first time in days, his heart felt at peace. Few days later, from the day Wine had collapsed in his arms, Jungkook changed completely. The cold, ruthless man that even his parents used to tiptoe around seemed to vanish when he was with her. In his place was someone so gentle, so hopelessly soft. It left even Mr. and Mrs. John staring at him in disbelief. Every morning, before Wine could even get out of bed, Jungkook would scoop her up in his arms like she weighed nothing. Good morning, my angel, he would whisper against her hair, carrying her bridal style to the washroom and then downstairs. Wine would blush furiously, burying her face against his chest, especially when she saw his parents already at the breakfast table. Mrs. John always pressed a hand to her heart. My, since when did my son become so tender? Mr. John would grunt behind his newspaper. Unbelievable. He never even helped me carry groceries. Wine melted even more when Jungkook ignored them both, setting her gently on his lap as he fed her himself spoon by spoon, his hands steady, his eyes never leaving her face. One morning when both his parents stared at them for too long, Jungkook scowled playfully. Can you both stop staring? You are making her shy. Mr. John's brow shot up. We are making her shy. What about you feeding her like she's the baby bird? Mrs. John chuckled, leaning toward Wine. Darling, you have turned my son into a man. No one else could. Wine's cheeks burned scarlet. She shook her head quickly. But Jungkook smiled proudly, pressing a kiss to her temple right there and settled her on the chair, not wanting to make her feel uneasy. Mrs. John then said in a serious tone, Jungkook, it's been a while since Wine had an appointment with a psychologist. Why not? He cut her off, seeing the unease on Wine's face. No, Mom. She is fine. She will talk when she wants to. Wine looked at him gratefully as he held her hand. Mrs. John just nodded, understanding her discomfort. Later, when she struggled with her long hair, Jungkook would sit behind her, fingers combing gently through her strands. Hold still, my doll, he would murmur. I'll take care of it. Wine would pout, fumbling as he carefully braided her hair, humming softly. Sometimes he would tug a little to her just to tease. Sorry, Angel, he would whisper with a grin. But you're too cute when you sulk. When he finished, he would kiss the ends of her hair with a dramatic sigh. Perfect. My queen's hair should always be flawless. She would blush so deeply her ears turned red, and he would laugh softly, clutching her shoulders and pressing kisses into her locks until she sweated him away. Every day he returned with flowers and dresses, laying them gently in her lap. He would whisper, for my angel, for my doll, for my queen. And every time Wine's heart fluttered a little harder. It wasn't long before she realized she wasn't scared of him anymore. Not even a little. In fact, she found herself staring at him more, yearning for him, wondering what it would feel like to touch him first instead of always being touched by him. But recently, Jungkook hadn't been himself. His smiles fluttered, his eyes lingered longer in silence, his laughter was softer and shorter. Now Wine sat on the bed with a book open in her lap, but she had been reading the same page for 20 minutes. Her eyes flicked to the wall again and again. It was late, too late. She picked up her phone, hesitated, then put it down, picked it up again, then dropped it with a sigh. Her heart ached with worry. The door creaked open. Jungkook stepped inside, hair disheveled, shirt bloodied, face bruised. His aura wasn't intimidating this time, it was vulnerable. You're still awake, he muttered, voice low, exhausted. He tossed his phone carelessly on the bed and trudged into the bathroom without another word. Wine froze, her hands trembling around the book. Her chest squeezed painfully as she replayed the image of his bruised face. For minutes, she sat stiff, then finally stood pacing back and forth in anxiety. She placed the book back on the shelf with shaky fingers chewing her lip raw. The bathroom door opened again. Jungkook walked out in a clean sweatpants and a loose black shirt, damp hair falling over his forehead. He looked better, but so tired. He plopped onto the bed with a groan, covering his face with his arm. Wine swallowed hard, then quietly pulled a blanket over him. Before she could pull back, his hand caught hers, lifting it to his lips. He kissed her knuckles softly. You don't have to do that, love. He murmured, his voice husky. She bit her lip, then slowly raised her free hand, signing, Are you okay? He lowered his arm and looked at her with a faint smile. Are you worried for me? Her cheeks flushed as she bit her lip again, eyes darting away. He chuckled softly, tugging her down until she fell on top of him with a small gasp. He adjusted her on his chest, wrapping an arm around her waist, his lips brushing her temple. Thank you for still accepting me. Her eyes softened. A sigh of content escaped her. For a long moment there was silence, then she propped herself slightly on his chest, sighing timidly. What happened? Jungkook exhaled, catching her hand and pressing it to his face. Her palm gently stroked over his braces, and his lashes fluttered. He whispered, Nothing, just business matters. Had a fight. Her lips pressed together tightly. She kept stroking his braces with trembling fingers, her worry written all over her face. He opened his eyes and caught her kiss. Slowly he pressed a kiss to her palm. I'm sorry, Wine. I shouldn't have forced you into the marriage. Her heart dropped. Did he regret her? Her gaze dropped, her lips quivering. Was he fed up with her silence, with her muteness? She swallowed hard, then with her finger placed on his chest. Do you want to eat? Jungkook shook his head, tightening his arm around her waist. No, love. I just need you to stay with me. He turned his head, pressing a soft kiss to her cheek, lingering there until her skin burned red. Then he hugged her tighter, burying his face in her hair. Stay like this, just stay. Her body relaxed into him. They lay together, and as always, Jungkook didn't talk about business or anger. He rambled softly about his day, about random things, about how the rain smelled different in another city, how he once fought with a cat in an alley, how he thought she looked cutest when sulking during breakfast. Wine listened, her chest swelling, her lips twitching into small smiles she couldn't suppress. For the first time she realized she didn't just accept him, she wanted him, yearned for him, and wrapped in his arms, listening to his slow, warm voice, she knew she had fallen.